Sambrooks Brewery, Junction, best bitter.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. If it looks a bit different today, I was fucking about with the camera last night and I really shouldn't have, because I'm trying to get it back to the angle it was and it hasn't worked out. Don't ask me how, you wouldn't believe I worked in IT, would you? But I'm going to get a new lens, so everything is going to be in 4K very soon. So if you think the quality is okay now, it's going to be even better apparently. I've done a little bit of experimentation last night with some 4K. The files are absolutely fucking massive. I'm going to have to get a bigger memory card, but they are coming, don't worry, and I will be the first to let you know when they do. There you go. Right, today we have got Sambrooks Brewery, Junction handcrafted premium best bitter. Now, I bought this from Beers of Europe, and I didn't know anything about the brewery at all. I just saw it was a premium best bitter. The label looked quite traditional, quite modest, and I thought, right, okay, I'll give it a go. And on doing a bit of research about them, they're from London, and they've been going since 2008. They're from a place called Battersea. You must have heard of it, famous for the dog zone, south of the river. You know my views on south of the river. Saw it off, give it to the French, but that's where they're based. And I was looking on their website, and it looks like this COVID has really hit them hard, because all their brewery tours are cancelled, which is more or less standard anyway. But they had a lot planned for autumn 2020 and summer 2020. And I think that's all gone west now because of the old COVID situation and all that. So I don't know what state they're in now. Hopefully they're okay. Because what I like about this brewery, even though they've only been going since 2008, they brew a lot of traditional beers. They brew British IPA, they do pale ales, they do a Pilsner, which obviously isn't British, but they brew that. But they do a best bitter, and they also do one called Wandle Ale, which is similar to this, but not as sweet, and it's named after the River Wandle, which is south of the river. And this one, Junction, is named after the railway station Clapham Junction. You must have heard of Clapham Junction. Busiest rail junction in the United Kingdom, even more so than Crewe, would you believe? Clapham Junction, if you've ever been there, the amount of fucking tracks there, it's like a fucking junkie's arm. Anyway, enough about junkie's arms, let's investigate this beer. Right, 500ml bottle, 4.5%. The IBUs on this are 30, which is about right for a best bitter. That's what you'd normally see on, a Pilsner, possibly a German Pilsner, you'd get that. And it's got some interesting hops, I'll get onto them in a minute. What does it say on the side? Yeah, it just contains malted barley, wheat, hops and yeast. And that is about it. Right, the hops that they're using are Challenger, Bramlin Cross and Goldings hops. And they've also got some interesting malt on here as well. They're using Marisotto pale malt. Now I'm assuming that that's the base malt, and if it is the base malt, this is really promising, because Marisotto is a really, really good malt. It's called the Rolls Royce of malts. Why? Because it is such good quality, and it's really is suited to this style of beer, your bitters and your ales and stuff like that. And it also contains crystal malt, and it's got some roasted barley in there as well, which I'm assuming they've done to give it a nice dark colour. The hops that are in here, you've got Goldings hops. It doesn't say which type. I'm assuming they're English Goldings, so they're going to be quite mild. But then you've got the Challenger hops. Now, I've sort of covered Challenger hops before in my reviews, and the one I always go back to, or the beer that I always go back to, is the Coniston Brewing Company, the Bluebird Bitter. In fact, I've got some of that in the fridge. That's really nice, and it's got a really nice spicy finish to it, and of course that is what the Challenger hops are renowned for, is their spiciness. And you've also got Bramlin Cross in there. Now Bramlin Cross are a British hop, as the name sort of suggests, and they're quite fruity hops. They've got stuff like grapefruit, it contains vanilla as well. They've also got some dark fruit like berries and stuff like that, so that's a really interesting combination, and on paper it looks excellent. So let's see if they can match it in the taste. Right, let's get it open. Now this has been sitting for a while out of the fridge. I would say it's just a little bit more than cellar temperature. If you can imagine a cellar in midwinter, that's probably, you little bastard, it's gone everywhere and onto the carpet and all. Why the fuck has that happened? I hate it when that happens. I'm not going to do a Northern Southerner beer review where he hoovers it up with his gob, the beer hoover. But no, I'm not going to do that. I've got a Motorhead beer runner here, and that catches all the beer when this sort of thing happens. I'm not going to show it to you because it's full of beer at the moment, but that is just spouted up out of the bottle, which is a real shame. But nevertheless, we've only lost a little bit of it. Let's see what's in here. Right, now that actually does look really nice, and there's a little bit of murk and cloudiness to it as well. And funnily enough, I can't see any carbonation in there whatsoever. Oh yes I can. Wow, the slightest of carbonation in this beer. It does smell really nice though. I'm just getting wafts of it from the beer runner down here. Oh, that smells absolutely gorgeous. Big malty aromas, sweet malt, and some spice on that too. I was getting some of that when the bottle fizzed up, but let's get it all into the glass. Now I might have to do an aggressive pour on this because the head really isn't forthcoming on it, but oh, don't fizz up on me again, please. No, there you go, Lois. Right, and that looks really nice. That's like a 2-finger, slightly off-white head on there. Foamy white head. You can't really see that. When I get this new lens, it's supposed to block out all the light. I've got one of them daylight bulbs in here, and it's just a little bit too bright. This new lens is going to block a lot of that out, and I think I've managed to avert a disaster there. I think that beer runner's caught most of that beer. Anyway, there it is in the glass. Oh, it does smell absolutely gorgeous. Really hoping this is going to be good. Doesn't say it's bottle conditioned, but everything is going in there regardless. Right, let's get this down the hatch. Bottoms up. Oh, that's really nice. That's more than nice actually. That is really good. Very impressed indeed. Oh, and the finish. Really getting them Challenger hops on the finish. Loads of spice, like black pepper. Oh, it's good. This is really good. Let me get another mouthful of that. I got some really nice malt flavours going on with this. Lovely caramel, sweet caramel that comes through really nice, but on the back end you've just got all the hop flavours coming through. I'm getting a little touch of vanilla on there as well, and that I think is coming from the Bramlin Cross. They're sort of coming through as well. Oh, it's lovely. This is what I love. And do you know what? For a brewery that has been going since 2008, they have got this spot on. It's like a best bitter, but there's quite a bit of malty sweetness that's going on with this as well, which is really nice on the initial mouthfeel. It's like caramel malt with sweet flavours that I think are coming from the crystal malt that's in here, and that just gives way to quite a bitter finish, and that is all about the black pepper and the earth that is coming from them Challenger hops. I really do recommend you try the Coniston Bluebird. Now that is an archetypal British bitter using one hop, and that's the Challenger hop, and if you taste that, you will, I think, in my opinion, you will be able to taste Challenger hops in most of the British beers that are using them, because they just stand out. They've got a unique character to them, and it's really nice. And don't get me wrong, you know, I can get elements of the other two hops in there, you know, the earthiness from the Fuggles and the fruit flavours that are in the Bramlin Cross, but with this, it's just, and even now there is just the caramel with, there's a little touch of toffee on that as well that I'm getting. Little touch of sweet toffee mixed with that caramel. I am absolutely loving this, and I think now when I tried the Moore Best Bitter, I thought that was really good. This just knocks that out the park. This is probably one of the best bitters I've tasted from a craft brewer, and one that's based in London, which again, even though it's South London, I'm joking, I haven't got a problem with South London, for fuck's sake. Yeah, but given their pedigree, that, you know, they've only been around, you know, 12 years or so, this is a really, really good best bitter, in my opinion. I haven't tried the Wandle. The Wandle that they do, apparently, is another type of bitter, but this, they say, is sweeter. And I do get that. It's got the lovely crystal malt flavour. You know that, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it's sweet. It's like sweet caramel rounded off with toffee. And when I saw they were using Maris Otter Pale, that's what they were using for their, well, I'm assuming it is, that's what they're using as their base malt. Now when you start with Maris Otter as a base malt, that is a really, really good place to start, because it can only get better from there if you're, you know, if you're a good brewer. Obviously it's easy to fuck things up, but I think they've got this absolutely spot on. I could drink loads of this. Just as I put that last one down, I was getting nice vanilla flavours on this as well. This is absolutely gorgeous. I really do recommend this. So what's the verdict? Yeah, I bought this thinking that these, because I don't really research the beers before I buy them, unless of course I know the brewery. But if I see a beer that I like the look of, and I like what they're saying in the description, I'll buy it. And this, to me, it looks quite traditional, you know, and like, it's a premium best bitter. And I just thought, when I looked at it on Beers of Europe, I thought, oh, this is going to be one from the East Anglia small brewers that they promote. But it was only when I started doing research that I found out that these were a London brewery that had only been going about 12 years. So sort of alarm bells rang. When the bottle fizzed up, I didn't know what had caused that, but again, another little alarm bell rang. But honestly, this is fantastic stuff. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. If I gave it anything less, I would not be doing it justice. I absolutely love it, and if you're a fan of bitter, if you like your ruby ales, do you know, stuff like this. When you see the stuff that the Witchwood Brewery, you know, Hobgoblin used to be fantastic. When you taste it now, and I know they're brewing on a much bigger scale, but Christ almighty, stuff like this, it really does give me hope for the, you know, these brewers that are doing British styles a bit. And I really hope stuff like this, you know, is something that it's something to throw back against, you know, the incessant bombardment of American style pale ales and IPAs, which, don't get me wrong, I quite like. But it would be an absolute travesty if this style of beer, you know, just got left by the wayside and went out of fashion. I know I say it in all my videos, but this stuff is amazing. For a craft brewer, that is easily the best bitter I have tasted so far. So that's going down on my list of top 10 beers. It really is good. I'm not sure whether it's up there, you know, with the likes of, you know, my favourites like the Mordew stuff, the Cropton stuff, the Coniston Brewing stuff. But I'll tell you something, it is not far behind. This is a fantastic best bitter. That's 10 out of 10 from me, and I urge you to get some. And remember, beer is working class champagne.